the times that I've spent with the guys since the news of Stanley's passing, they've all handled themselves fairly well. Struggling in some cases, knowing that they won't ever get to work out, never get to say hi to Stanley, never get to, Stanley won't make it to the banquet. There's some struggles there, but they all come together and they're supporting each other and supporting Stanley's family to let them know that he wasn't just loved at home, he was loved in the wrestling room as well.
You can feel the love in this wrestling room. Hazleton Area High School Wrestling head coach Keith Maurer sent a message to the Cougar Wrestling family asking them to gather here and put together a few tributes for Stanley Jimson Jr.'s funeral.
The first time I met Stanley, he was, to me a little goofy, a lot of fun to be around. I felt like he was the type of kid that could just make an entire room laugh. He always had a smile on his face, but, just a really good kid and just, took a lot of pressure off the kids and things like that, but just a fun kid to be around. The biggest thing I remember with Stanley is not so much the time he spent on the mat, more the time, when other kids were wrestling, or if we were on a trip, say at state duels, or let's say we were at a tournament, he was just fun to be around. Like, if we were having dinner at a restaurant, he was the talk of the table, just knew how to make everybody laugh. If we're in the van driving somewhere, always knew how to make everybody laugh. He was just a lot of fun to be around.
This wrestling room at the Butler Township Community Center is where Jimson started his wrestling career in a local youth program with friends like Devin Youngcourt.
When we were little, we had one of the greatest football teams. It was awesome. I think we went like 3 years undefeated, and it was just fun laughing with them. Awesome to have them throughout junior high and high school, and I'm glad I got to spend the time that I had with him. He was someone you could talk to. He was just, it made you laugh all the time, no matter how you felt. You could be below bottom and he would just bring you out of the depths. I couldn't describe it. He's just a gift. That's who he was.
While Jimson knew how to have fun, he also had a reputation for putting in some serious work on the mat.
Practice started, he'd come in, take care of business. It didn't matter, as a coach sometimes, when you're going to do a little conditioning or a little extra cardio work, make a couple statements, and usually ours was get a group of 3. I hear a lot of sighs and but Stanley wasn't that guy. He was business. He was all about the business, and no talk back, no attitude.
He's been an integral part of the program since he was, I guess, probably this tall. And Stanley wasn't a wins and loss guy that stood out for you, but everything else, he was a standout guy. Practice-wise and putting out effort, and watched him grow all the way through junior high and senior high, and probably had it all paid off for him this year. He had his best record of winning season, and finishing 6th in the district with a pretty nice showing. Helped us win a Wyoming Valley Conference title. Stanley fairly well decorated as far as a Hazleton area wrestler.
Stanley brought a good energy in the room. He was always positive no matter what. He was one of the hardest workers. He was definitely one of the hardest workers in the room. And it's just a shame that I'm never going to be able to see him wrestle again. It was an honor to be able to say that I coached his last match.
That last match was for 5th place at the District 2 AAA Championships. Jimson lost by a point, but still captured a district medal by finishing 6th at 152 pounds. That medal was an important first step.
I think there's a picture going around that, had a picture of his notebook, and it showed the goals that he had for himself not just in wrestling, but in life. When I took over the program in 2004, we started a little thing called 212, and that kind of has always made its way through our wrestling program with all the kids, and on the top of his notebook it had the number 212, you know, that extra degree of effort. Just the goals I remember, just looking in that notebook. The first was to place at districts, which he did. Another one was to go to the Marines, which he was going to. Just talking about his goals in life, so you could tell he was very goal-oriented and goal-driven. And you know, you don't find that a lot in kids that actually write them down and try to achieve the things that they put in front of them.
Jimson's list of goals also included starting a family, being the best father possible, learning to love himself, and gaining confidence while remaining humble. Maurer hopes Jimson's story, his hard work, and his dedication inspires others to check items off of their own list of dreams.
I think that's what he worked to do, was be the best that he could be. You know, and even though that wasn't a state champ, a district champ, or whatever it was, you know, every day he came into the practice room, he worked to be the best that he can be. You know, and gosh, if I could get a room full of guys that are willing to do that, you know, we'll be successful. So again, I hope there are some people out there that are watching this and see this tragic story one way or another, and I hope there's a bunch of kids out there in the community that decide to try and follow Stanley's footsteps.
The Cougar Wrestling family is making sure Jimson's legacy lives on.
Look at the community that's here for him. You know, it's like we have a strong wrestling community in Hazleton, and we will always remember Stanley. He'll be a part of this room forever, just like 212. I'm gonna miss him.
For SSPTV Sports, I'm Ken Cara. Sports on SSPTV News is brought to you in part by the Lehigh Valley Health Network and MMI Preparatory School. Come see what they have to offer during their exploration days. You can also schedule a visit with their admissions director. Call 570-636-1108, extension 136, or email admissions@mmiprep.org.